We're live. Let me just double check to make sure we are live.
Welcome.
We're live. All right, everyone. Hello and welcome to week 13 of the OSU WVU podcast with video form today. I'm Alex Dusky, joined by Asa Lucas and Jace Andrews. We have a different setup for you guys today. We are in the journalism building. We thought one of the classrooms would be open, but the studio would be open, but it's not. So here we are in a classroom, but we hope you guys can hear us and see us all right. So we're going to start off by talking about the West Virginia game. We were all there.
Y'all, you two had a little more rough time than I did.
We did. I'm going to check the audio real quick.
Yeah, we'll check the audio.
Okay, we're good. That might be
all
better.
This technology, you can never be too careful.
Correct. And we are recording this on a secondary device as well, so if there are any issues with the YouTube, we'll have a backup as well. So, West Virginia, we lost at home. We had not lost at home since the 2020 Texas homecoming game. Jace, you had never been to a home loss. I didn't remember what a home loss was like. Asa?
Oh, they're common. They're a lot more common than most people think.
So, what were your takeaways from today's game?
Mr. Andrews,
There's
that defense, man, I'm telling you, that Jalen Anderson.
Let me pull up the stats.
I got to be honest. I mean, Anderson, 15 carries, 155 yards, 2 touchdowns. But the 2 runs that were his biggest was like
57 yards.
57. I mean, that's just terrible right there. And like, I've said it all year, our rushing defense is killing us. And unfortunately, I think that it's a problem because I really hope we don't go play in whatever bowl game and we have this amazing running back that nobody's heard of and he's going to run all over us because, I mean, at this point, we've made people who have never rushed for 100 yards in their life look like Heismans. So
let's go on the positive note of things. I love talking about the positives of Cowboy football.
You do. You're such an optimist.
Garrett Rangel, he's pretty much the future, and he's a quarterback that can develop. He made some great throws, and I wouldn't blame him for today's loss. There's a lot of
I wouldn't either.
balls.
Yes.
He placed it well.
Would you blame the drops on the weather or on just players not catching the ball?
A mixture of both. I think they knew, or they could have practiced more with wet balls. I think that's something the weather forecast people understood and knew about.
Mm-hmm.
So you can practice that. But I mean, rain does affect a football game. It's obvious that we saw it today.
I'm just going to say this. I don't think we can blame anybody else besides Casey Dunn. It is. Here's the thing.
You want to have that said online on the
interwebs? Here's the problem. Think about that type of game. It's raining, it's wet, it's hard to throw. How many times do you think Garrett threw the ball?
It was like 40-something?
Yeah.
42 times. You don't know how many times West Virginia threw the ball?
Like 20.
Well, Garrett Green threw it for 14 times.
Before he got
and then
did you see what happened? It was a concussion?
Yeah, he got.
That should have been a targeting.
I gotta be honest. I don't know how it was targeting. That wasn't targeting. I appreciate it for one fact. We get Taylor in the bowl game the entire game. Cobb. Because he would have been ejected for the first half.
I do want to say, yes, Dunn makes play calls. Why does Gundy continually allow Dunn to make play calls that obviously don't work? Like a screen pass on a 4th and 10.
It's a good question. It's a bit above my pay grade. I couldn't give you a good answer.
Your $0 pay grade?
What are you talking about? I'm taking the Kings after.
Can we talk about the score prediction?
Oh, yes. What?
Let's pull it up here.
Let me pull it up.
I think
Asa was 23-21. So he was only off by 3.
Wow.
Jace was off 31-21. So he was off by 7-9.
A lot.
I was off by.
We know that Jace isn't good with these scores.
I was off by like 16. So Asa.
I think I won overall with that.
I would agree. I don't ever remember
the score predictors this year. I get that next round.
Well, and you said that you
not the crown I want.
You wanted West Virginia, or you thought you wanted to go with West Virginia,
I
but
really
you felt
did.
obligated to pick Oklahoma
yes,
State.
Mama Dusky, you have strong-armed me into going with Oklahoma State this year.
I wish you would pick the other opponent more. Because
When you picked Texas and then we won.
The one time.
Yeah, and then you. So
I don't think it works like that.
I mean, I wish.
I wish it did.
We haven't tried it.
All right. Well, do you guys have any other takeaways? Let me see if
Ollie
I've
Gordon
even
is the feature
post-game
back
notes.
for next year.
Okay,
So
we did get
that's-
the, I did get the
That's something I
post-game
did
notes.
want to comment
I
on.
would like to say that I'm using my phone because my notes are on my computer, which is live streaming. So, Jason Taylor got his 6th interception, which furthers his case for the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award. He is a tie for 9th for most interceptions by a single player in a season in school history, and the most since Justin Gilbert had 7 in 2013. He is also the 4th OSU player since 2000 to record an interception in consecutive. He is the 4th OSU player since 2000 to record an interception in 3 consecutive games, and the 1st since AJ Green did it in 2017.
Oddly specific stat they shared.
So, and Tanner Brown is 21 for 22 on field goal attempts. Both Ollie Gordon and DeAndre Jackson set career high in attempts and rushing yards. Gordon is the first Cowboy freshman to rush for 100 yards since Dominic Richardson did against Baylor in 2020. We played Baylor in December of 2020.
Remember the COVID? Baylor got COVID and had to cancel the game. So
Yeah.
We played them like a week late.
It was odd.
Here's going back on the Ollie Gordon thing.
Come on.
Ollie is definitely the future. I also like that we had DeAndre Jackson who got
Yeah.
56 yards. I mean, both of them here. The problem I have, we had, 4 guys who ran the ball for at least, a couple yards. Brennan Presley, Jaden Nixon, DeAndre Jackson, Ollie Gordon.
Brennan Presley's 4-yard touchdown run is the first rushing touchdown since homecoming.
Well, I just want to say something. There was a 4th down before we had to punt it away. And it was 4th down and 3.
Yeah.
How many yards do you think Oklahoma State was averaging of the 4 players? You think any of them averaged below 3 yards per carry?
No.
No. And yet, what we do? We threw it.
I mean,
I know it's hard to think about post because obviously, they're probably expecting run on 4th and 3. But Ollie Gordon is averaging 8
Correct.
yards per carry on that one
especially when he had just had those 2 explosive runs.
plays. He just scored the touchdown a drive earlier. I think was about the time.
But if there was a game to play it safe because of when you was so low scoring and neither offense is really working, this was the game to do that.
It just made no sense that we threw 42 passes when we had Ollie doing what he was in such a rainy game and rainy.
Correct. If it wasn't for the rain, I mean,
I'm okay
you
with
see
that.
that in the NFL where if it's raining or snowing, they're just handing the ball
The
off.
Patriots bit the Bills last year throwing 2 passes. Listen, you should not play the game you're given.
We've mentioned that Brennan Presley, he has this big streak of he's recorded at least 1 interception in 26 of the past 1 reception.
I think it's an interception.
No, 1 reception in 26 of the past 27, dating back to the Cheez-It Bowl in 2020. And a new trend is that John Paul Richardson has recorded 2 or more receptions in 14 straight games dating back to the Big 12 championship.
Yeah, that was a rare drop by him right there in the 4th quarter.
Mm-hmm.
That was odd.
It's wet and it's hard. It's hard, especially late in that game. It was pouring.
Yeah.
You're going to
So-
get wet.
On a sour note, it did snap our school record home winning streak of 14 games and our 14-game winning streak against the Mountaineers.
We'd won that one, right?
Yeah, so Neil Brown's last game, probable last
Yeah.
game in his West Virginia coaching career, he finally beat Oklahoma State. Odd. Odd game, odd day.
I mean, hey, there's a possibility it saved his job. Not unlikely, but
What are your thoughts on? I have already talked to Jace about
Okay.
this, but West Virginia has now gotten their 5th win.
yeah,
Correct. They beat OU and they beat us in their last 2 games. Would the committee give them a bowl game even though they don't have 6 wins?
There are a handful of teams that do make it as 5 and 7, but that's really rare. And the West Virginia fan base isn't the best at traveling. Not like a Nebraska, for example, who normally can get a 5 and 7
who
bid.
just beat Iowa last
Yeah,
night.
that was very.
We'll talk
It's
about
been a weird
that.
weekend of college football.
Correct.
I don't think so. I don't.
Okay.
Our tenure and Oklahoma's tenure is not enough for a committee to be like, oh yeah, they're a 5-7 team that deserves a bowl win. Or going to a bowl, because bowling's all about money at the end of the day.
Here's what I thought, and let me know if you think the same way.
Okay.
I think if JT Daniels was the quarterback, I think they might have a shot.
Yeah, he said it was a storyline.
Because you think about it, he was a guy, 5-star prospect, went to Georgia, failed there.
Okay.
Went to USC, didn't do well there, and then came back to West Virginia. He was doing, I feel like came and immediately played and got the fifth win or something like that. But
Maybe it's a school of thought.
correct. It's you'll never know. But.
Continuing on the sour note, Bedlam. That was last Saturday. OU quite literally handed us a win, and we declined the offer.
I think you said it wrong. I think it's
The OU beat us 28-13. We allowed 28 points in the first quarter and held OU scoreless the remainder of the game. Jason Taylor II had an interception, fumble recovery, career high 11 tackles. Brennan had his first 100-yard game with 118 on 9 catches. And we didn't even mention this, that Spencer didn't play today. Spencer last week finished 36 of 67, which was the most attempts in a single game in program history. And he completed about half of them. You were in the press box for that game? Wow, so 2 weeks in a row, Jace and I were freezing in the stands, and you were up nice in the press box. At least we were there. We were there.
Can I just interject real quick? I know it's probably what you're seeing. You probably checked the score, but TCU's up 24-0 in the first quarter on Iowa
Already?
State.
We're focusing on Bedlam right now.
2 minutes
We'll
to go.
get to the
but
rest of it.
I just can't believe that.
There's just a lot of problems. We should not have started the season 5-0.
No,
We shouldn't
no.
have. Like I said, the narrative of this year versus last year should have been flipped. Last year's team, we should have expected an 11-win season. We didn't. We expected 6 wins. And then this year we expected an 11-win season, and instead we'll be lucky to have 8. So just a lot of issues, a lot of problems we're gonna have to fix in the offseason.
Do you say Spencer Sanders stays at Oklahoma State?
No, he's leaving. If he's not going for the draft, I'm buying the rumor that of what he posted on Twitter about the transfer.
So did
portal.
he post something on Twitter?
That's the rumor.
And then deleted it?
I believe so.
Because I remember seeing on Twitter, see, this is why we're doing a little live video, so you guys can actually see what goes on behind the scenes. Spencer Sanders, I saw it on Twitter that it was like, oh, so-and-so's, he's going to the transfer portal, but then I never saw anything else.
I mean, this is your senior day. It's your last home game. If you love I don't know. It was weird.
Can you believe that they didn't put him in for one snap?
But I mean, maybe he was hurt. Maybe he finally, after that Oklahoma game, he was like, listen, I'm not going to do anything until a bowl game.
But a snap in your in soccer, they'll put the girls in, even if they're hurt, they'll just put them on the field for, 10 seconds to say that, oh, I played in my senior game.
I really wanted to see Tom Hutton go out there and throw a pass. I thought that would have been amazing.
All right. So moving on to the Big 12. Yesterday, Baylor was leading Texas, but the Longhorns ended up winning 38-27. Iowa State is in Fort Worth, currently taking on TCU, and it's the end of the first. TCU 24-0.
Not in the first yet. There's still a chance for more points.
They started the first 48 minutes ago.
You're going to want to watch the Sunflower Showdown tonight, folks. That's the big game you're going to want to watch.
So, should Kansas win, Texas will go to the Big 12 championship. But if Kansas State wins, then the Wildcats will go. Kansas State has an 86% chance to win. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think the Wildcats will do it?
I do think Kansas is going to pull it off. Kansas State is going to pull it off. Kansas is a good school, and they're getting there. They're making the proper steps. But the Will Howard powered Wildcats are just, man, they're impressive school.
Jace?
I don't know. I think Jalen Daniels is good. I think that Kansas has a shot. I don't like the way they played last week against Texas.
Correct.
But I will say I am definitely not counting Kansas out one bit.
Yeah, you should.
And I think either way, if we have Kansas State in the Big 12 championship or if we have Texas in the Big 12 championship, TCU is going to have a run for their money.
Correct. I think that Kansas State will win. I do think it would be fun to have the Jayhawks play spoiler, just kind of how the whole season's gone. Honestly,
actually, if the Jayhawks won, they would also jump us because they'd be 7-5 and we lost to them.
We'll get to
This
the,
is a
we'll
lot.
get to that in a second. So Texas Tech, they are taking on OU in Lubbock.
Yes.
In Lubbock. Texas Tech. This is what I think is kind of interesting. It's a pretty even 50-50
Chance of winning.
chance of winning. Thank you. However, OU is favored by 2. The over/under is 65. Jace, who do you have?
Oh, we're jumping right into these?
Well, we just asked about Kansas State,
Okay,
Kansas.
okay.
I know it's not go Pokes, but guns up. I'm going Tech.
What's the overall
Maybe
record?
2.
6-5 for both teams.
No, I mean
No.
all three of us. Because this is it, right? This is the last. Whoever predicts this correctly, they get the crown. I've been thinking about
I'm
this.
gonna go
since
OU
week
then.
one.
Let me see. Okay, podcast 11.
Yeah. See, this is important, folks.
Okay.
This is important to me.
Write
so it's important
write
to
this
podcast.
down.
Write this down.
Yeah, just type it.
Type it somewhere on a Google Doc. Hurry, Jace.
Just type it on your
Jace,
Just go right
hurry.
here. Go to your management page.
Oh, that's great.
Okay,
Just
it's
on the
right at the
bottom.
bottom. Okay, Alex, go to the Big 12 2 weeks ago. Alex is 14-15. You have 2 hands. Jace is 17-12. Ace is 17-12.
Oh, so it's me and Asa versus.
Well, hold on. How did we do
Wait,
that?
we're both
week?
17 and 12.
That okay. So then that was when OU played West Virginia. You might have to go to ESPN and then go to scores.
I have it right here. Which one?
And then
Which week?
There you go,
a
Jace.
couple weeks ago. 2
Week 11?
Yeah, week 11. Try 11. Does OU play West Virginia?
Yeah.
Okay. We all picked OU.
We all.
So that's all a loss.
We all lost.
And then we all picked Kansas State.
We all gotta win.
Okay.
I'm surprised you didn't do this before the podcast.
2 Techs. Did Tech and Kansas?
Tech won.
Okay, so that gives Asa,
And Jace.
Asa and Alex. Jace went with Kansas. Okay,
Why do you
and
always go
then,
against the Red Raiders?
and then we all picked
I
Texas
really
and
just
was wrong. Okay, so Asa and Alex get an extra win.
Hey-yo.
It doesn't really matter the losses, right? We're just trying to see who gets the most wins.
Correct.
Okay.
We didn't base it off a percentage. It was whoever had the most right. But you might have to go back and review our first episode.
What happened in the first?
I think that's where we laid out the structure
Oh.
for the crown in the Twitter post.
Well, in that case, I needed to.
I don't think we didn't do predictions last week.
I don't think we did either.
Okay, so
I mean, I did predictions last week.
because we did our bowl segment instead.
Remember?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so go back.
Because I didn't get to talk about
So
the K-State.
Asa's in the lead. Okay, and so Asa says that Kansas State. We all say Kansas State will win. Do you change your answer knowing that Asa is one ahead of you?
Like, how many games are picked
Just these 2.
that I have to pick? I gotta check it, so I'm gonna go Kansas.
Okay.
Okay,
And
I'm keeping Kansas State.
and I'll go Texas Tech.
I'll take Oklahoma.
I'm going with Texas Tech because if you go back to my Twitter, @AlexDusky_, and go back to like the first week of the season, first week of Big 12 play, we, for one of our class assignments, had to give Big 12 hot takes. And my hot take was that OU would go 6-6. And I am like
Wow.
9 hours away, 8 hours away from having that prediction come true. So I would like that to
Come on, Red Raiders. You've done me solid this season.
Except when you didn't pick them against Texas.
Can you do it one more? To be fair, Jace, my losses have been wild ones. And that was a
Hey, my
Bijan
wins
Robinson
have been wild
fumble.
ones.
Your wins have been wild.
Okay.
I picked some cool upsets.
I would like you to pull up the Big 12 standings
Pull 'em up, Jace.
because I don't know if my list counts Baylor's win in it.
Here we go. Here's
Loss.
the standings.
Or yeah, Baylor's 4-5. So does that include yesterday?
I believe.
Yeah,
so.
because they have 12. Okay, so they have Baylor. Oh, they even updated ours already, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now Texas Tech is above us. In all honesty, if TCU goes to the playoff, there's a set of options. If TCU doesn't go to the playoffs, then it messes up everything. So prior to today's game, we were projected to go to the Alamo Bowl in San Antonio, Texas. Baylor's going to the Cheez-It Bowl in Orlando. Texas Bowl in Houston. Tech, Liberty Bowl in Memphis. Kansas, Guaranteed Rate Bowl in Phoenix. OU, First Responders in Dallas. Kansas State going to the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. TCU in the playoffs, leaving out Iowa State and West Virginia.
You know,
So
That's all flipped around.
I was about to say, I'm looking at this.
This
There's
was
not a.
that
clear
was
game.
prior to Baylor losing.
Correct. Yeah. Because Texas winning now, it makes it look like they're going to go to the Alamo.
So the standings are TCU, Kansas State, Texas, Texas Tech, OSU, Baylor, OU, Kansas, West Virginia, Iowa State. But you're saying that
If everything happens the way we think it's going to happen.
you're saying if Kansas wins, they'll jump 4 spots and jump us?
Yeah, well, they'd be 4 and 5. We're 4 and 5.
Seven.
They go above us.
What about Baylor and Kansas? Didn't Baylor beat Kansas?
Yeah.
So
I don't know how this works, man, because there's going to be about if Oklahoma and Kansas win, which I hope they do, because that'd be amazing. There'd be
like a 5-way tie.
1, 2,
It
3,
would, yeah,
4.
it would
There'd
be
be 5.
crazy.
So in that case, it's pick and choose.
Yeah.
It's bowl games.
Meaning
choice.
even more that the odds are just literally up for not us to decide.
Yeah.
So
What a weird year to have a podcast about the Big 12.
Yeah.
let's say
Or be a Big 12 expert, because there's not an expert on this Big 12.
let's say we have about 10 minutes left in our podcast. So let's do 5 of those minutes pretending that TCU goes to the playoffs.
Okay.
TCU goes to the playoffs. Kansas State
Sugar Bowl,
Sugar Bowl.
Texas Alamo Bowl.
Texas Alamo Bowl.
And
And then
from
let's
there-
assume that we'll go with the favorites. So Texas Tech wins today.
Their favorite?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or well, they have a 51% chance to win.
Well,
We'll go with the percentages,
Okay.
unless you guys object.
Tech is ahead of us. In that case, they would then go to
I think they go to the Cheez
Cheez-It
Bowl.
Bowl.
And then we
I'll
would,
agree
we
with
would go to
I-
Texas Bowl.
Bowl.
And then Baylor would go
Wait.
to Liberty Bowl.
Whoa. Tech would go to the Cheez-It Bowl.
We'd
We
go
would-
to Texas Bowl. And then Baylor would go to Liberty Bowl.
And then it would be Kansas would be
Guaranteed rate.
and then
OU is
Oklahoma.
first responders.
Yep.
Okay, so those two.
Bro, I would love for OU go to the first responders bowl. After all that, congratulations, guys. Head to Fort Worth.
You ready to play a team you've never heard of before, like UNLV?
You know what I think is unfair? That all of the little schools get to go to the Bahamas or Hawaii or
Yeah,
these fun
okay.
locations.
But think about this. Baylor, and just pick a random team. Let's go Alabama.
Okay.
They're playing at like Tennessee, which is a monster city. They're playing at Texas A&M, a monster city. Western Kentucky is playing at a stadium with maybe 15,000 seats. At least
That's how many were there at the game today.
Hey, it said 52,000.
Speaking of
let them go.
Alabama, I was talking to my friend Colin, who works with Alabama football, that
Name drop.
I
An
believe
inside
we've
source.
talked about. Well, this is
Is Nick Saban leaving?
no. He said
Is he sick?
no. I was just talking to him about the bowl games because he still believes that Alabama has a chance.
They
I
do.
mean, they do.
This
After
is
Michigan's win?
this is. I have it in writing. I have this circled. So if TCU loses both,
Oh,
Michigan beats Ohio State, which happened. South Carolina beats Clemson, which happened. Then Notre Dame has to beat USC.
possible.
Bama has to destroy Auburn, which do we know how that's going? Oh, it was right there. It was at the top. Okay, they're up by 14.
They just scored, so
Okay, so
not terrible.
potential.
Oregon's also.
And then this is the kicker. LSU has to lose to Texas A&M,
Not gonna happen.
and Clemson has to lose to UNC.
Possible.
Clemson has to lose twice. I mean,
Correct.
the way UNC is playing, I don't see it.
I believe yes. Colin says that part is not necessary.
I don't
However, I was talking to him about our bowls and what his opinion was, and I mentioned the Texas Bowl. He's like, "Oh, do you mean the Cotton Bowl?" I'm like, "No, I mean the Tax Act Texas Bowl." He said, "Oh, is that one of those bowls where the poor schools go?" Something that an Alabama fan.
Colin was saying
Hold
that?
on. If Auburn pulls this off, they may play us in that bowl game. So
So Colin Patton, be warned. You'll have some angry Oklahoma State fans on you.
Mama Dusky, if we play Bama in a bowl game, I am so sorry. You're not going to like my thoughts and perspectives on that one.
Bro,
Speaking of,
I'm saying we're losing by 50.
what about poor Tennessee?
There's no sympathy for Tennessee.
I have sympathy for him.
I've
not for
correct,
Tennessee.
Hooker.
correct. He's a great
I do
guy.
not care
He
about
was the
anybody else.
school's one shot at a Heisman in over 20 years.
Hey, here's the big thing. Him and Jalen Hyatt are about to be making big bucks next year. They're making some huge money. They did some amazing things.
Okay, so going back to the original statement, TCU doesn't make it to the playoffs.
They lose.
They lose to
in the-
Kansas State.
Here's the thing. If they lose to Kansas State, they're still in a New Year's Six Bowl, in my opinion.
It's true.
They're going to
So,
the Cotton Bowl. It doesn't
They would
change
go to the
anything
Cotton
about
Bowl? Okay.
it. It doesn't change the thing to me.
What are the other New Year's Six bowls?
Well, there's the All-State Sugar Bowl, which the winner of the Big 12 goes. So therefore, Kansas State or
would go.
Texas. And then it'd be the Cotton Bowl, which is the at-large team.
Right.
Which, if TCU loses in the Big 12
It's
championship,
very likely
they'll
would.
probably go there. And then versus a group G5, at-large team, the highest ranked group of 5 team. Everything else is out of the picture. But
So you think that even if TCU loses to Kansas State, well, what if they lose to Texas? Okay, now let's play devil's advocate, okay?
They'll still make the New Year's
Kansas
season.
wins.
same thing, it doesn't matter.
Well,
Texas
will
goes
that affect our bowls?
No.
If Kansas wins and OU wins, then we have that weird 4-way tie, 5-way
That
tie.
probably will slightly affect our bowls.
I think here's what I'll say. It's so hard to predict this, but I think there's probably a 70% shot we're going to the Texas Bowl and a 30%
Which is
for the
what we
field.
wanted.
Exactly, and a
Yeah.
30% for the field.
So we're not going to go to the first responders.
No,
We're not going to go to the guaranteed rate.
Correct.
And
we're
I
still
don't
three
think
bowls.
they'll put us in the Cheez-It Bowl knowing that we went 2 years ago. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't see it either.
But the other argument is, it was the COVID year. They didn't get to really experience the Cheez-It Bowl.
You still win.
Correct.
The problem is at that point in time, it was kind of fading and fans went. And the biggest thing, they got merch sales. But do you think John, let's go, who played it?
Brennan.
Do you think Brennan's mom's gonna like, oh, let's buy you another Cheez-It Bowl
No,
shirt?
that's true. That's
No,
true.
it doesn't, that's not how it's going to work.
Okay, so then it's Alamo Bowl, Texas Bowl, Liberty Bowl. The
But
Alamo
we're
Bowl
not.
is
Alamo Bowl's out of the
Qualify for
equation.
the
That'll
Alamo
go to
Bowl.
Kansas State.
so then it's just the Texas and Liberty Bowl.
Correct.
You said it was there were 3 bowl options.
Correct. Cheez-It, Tax Act, and Liberty
Oh,
Bowl.
but we were cutting out the
Cutting
Cheez-It Bowl.
cheese in. And to me, if Texas Tech is in the Liberty Bowl option, I think they get picked there.
And that's who
That's
my
who the title
source
is.
before yesterday's game said yes. Sports Illustrated. Oh, it's not a special source.
My source, the internet.
So
I think the
We would
Texas
all-
Bowl is a pretty good.
so you guys would prefer the Texas Bowl.
100%. Here's my thing. Last year, we played at an NFL stadium. We just played at an NFL stadium.
And not
That's cool.
only
That's
just
true.
any NFL.
Yeah,
It's-
the
it's
home of
your-
the
your-
1-8-1
The-
Houston Texans.
The home of Asa Lucas.
Okay, hold on.
And
Actually,
Jace
at
and
I was
least,
about to say, we both
at
We got
least-
grew up
two
there.
Houston
at least
boys.
our quarterback's not spiking his helmet down on the ground.
Hey, man.
Patriots have lost.
Hey,
They've lost their nerve.
I used to be a Texans fan. I know what you're going
And you
through.
betrayed us.
I betrayed him because they traded away J.J. Watt.
As a Bengals fan, I know what you're going through.
That's true.
I was watching America Says, which is my favorite game show network, and the group was like the Bengal buddies. And the host was like, yeah, you've had a great year. Terrible decade, though. And I was like, you didn't have to say that.
Hey, Joey B's your savior.
So if we go to the Houston Bowl, then you two will be in driving distance, and I will have to fly. But if we're in the Memphis Bowl, then we can take everyone to my home state of
Listen,
Tennessee.
Here's all I
and see-
say. As cool as the Memphis Bowl would be, that stadium is not good. I'm sorry.
Oh,
That
no, I
stadium is
agree.
terrible.
It's not good. It's not
Wait,
safe.
You mean the Liberty Bowl? You don't keep saying the Memphis Bowl.
Well,
Sorry,
it's
yeah, we're
Memphis
going
Liberty.
to Memphis.
Yeah.
It's play at Memphis.
Well,
It is,
here's
I know
the
it's
deal.
played, but the title
The
is
Tax Act Texas Bowl. How about the Liberty Tennessee Bowl?
So who would we play in the Texas Bowl?
I gotta be honest.
SEC.
It's an SEC.
I think it'd
Oh!
be South Carolina.
Okay, yeah. Let me
Yeah.
ask you this.
Okay.
South Carolina
I don't
has
know.
Spencer Rattler. Okay, I believe the last time I saw it was that we would take on Ole Miss, but
They
then
lost last night.
correct,
to-
they lost
a
and
couple
South
nights ago.
Carolina won, so then that messes everything up. But would they put even if South Carolina's not slated, would they put an old OU quarterback against OSU?
It would be a good
And their
headline.
coach is from OU, correct?
It would
Shane
be,
Beamer. Yeah.
it would be a good headline.
And if we played in the Liberty Bowl, it's a Pac-12 team.
Liberty Bowl. I don't know.
No, it's a Big Ten.
Oh,
I don't know.
What would
There's
you
there's an
rather take
argument
on?
for South Carolina and there's an argument for Kentucky too. Keep that in mind. And Missouri just became bowl eligible.
so looking ahead,
Gosh, all these teams. I'd prefer a Big Ten, by the way, just to. Actually, you know what? No, I prefer an SEC school. I want people to know that the Big 12 we're a bowling conference.
well, yeah, if 10 of our 12 teams or 8 of our
Hey,
10 teams are
We're
going
the
to bowl,
only conference with I think a 70% bowl eligible.
well, that's
basis.
an 80%.
I meant 80 then, whatever it was.
Okay. So make sure you're checking out. Oh, Iowa State did score. It's 27-7 with 10 minutes to go in the half. That game is on Fox.
Hey, the way this Oregon State game, Oregon State's winning. I know it's 10-7.
Yeah.
We could play. Sorry, wrong.
Okay. Back to
Okay.
my original statement to wrap things up. So you after we end the live, don't leave yet.
Don't leave
Go
it
to
yet.
Fox and watch that Iowa State game.
Yeah.
Another game to watch out for.
The suspense is killing me.
Kansas
What
Kansas
games?
State, 7:00, also on Fox. So just go to
Sunflower
Fox
Showdown.
and stay on Fox.
Hey, go see if Michael Penix Jr. is good too.
Where's the other Big 12 game? OU.
They're not ranked.
Oh, oopsies.
So yeah.
and neither are we.
Hey, we were ranked for longer.
That's at 6:30 on Fox Sports 1.
Oh,
you want to
thank
check
you.
that one
Thank
out.
you.
FS1.
So those are your two games. And then on Tuesday at 6:00 Central, the updated college football
That's
rankings will come out. And then on Saturday, December 3rd, a week from today, Big 12 championship is at 11 a.m. Then that following Sunday, December 4th, I believe it's at noon, will be the selection show bowl finale. So by 2 p.m. on Sunday, we will know what bowl we're going to.
And just because we're a cultural broadcast, Friday is the Pac-12 championship. 11 a.m. Saturday is the Big 12 championship. 2:30 is the SEC championship, and the nightcap is the Big 10 and the ACC. So just pay
That's
attention.
great football to watch.
Pay attention to the Pac-12 game on Friday because it could change some things. Not for us, but for the playoff picture.
We will do a podcast again next week, normally as scheduled, and then
Is that our last one?
No, we'll do one.
To me, I think we should do one the Monday after the
We'll do
selection.
one Monday after the selection show.
And then
yeah,
we can,
and then we'll
wait,
probably
take a couple weeks off before the game.
outside forces pending. The three of us will be at the bowl game, wherever in the world it is.
Texas, hopefully.
So you'll
One
want
of our
to keep
homes.
following. You'll want to keep following the Poke Report on social media. You should always be following Poke Report.
And check to see who the winner of
Oh yeah, the
podcast
predictions. What was?
Hey,
Wasn't it-
Kansas and Oklahoma are about to carry me to the victory. I'm just saying that. I'm going from
All right,
17 to 19.
the
today.
Red Raiders are coming through.
No, they are not.
I have nothing in this. I have no horse in the race. So
Oh,
Woo,
So-
Red
so-
Raiders.
so you don't want me to win?
So you don't want me
I
to win?
picked Kansas State and Texas Tech.
So you picked Aces.
I picked Aces, but I picked before he vocalized.
Bro, so I'm gonna beat you by 4 and beat Aces by 1? Man.
So much aggression, Mr. Evans.
Aggression,
The,
confidence.
the hypothermia started.
Bro,
So
I
it
already
was
said
so
it.
cold.
I can't feel my feet. I think a toes fell off.
All right. Well, do you guys have any last minute comments on Bedlam, West Virginia, or any others? NCAA?
The season's over. Let's focus on the bowl game.
The season is over, but we have to remember we are still a good team.
Mhm.
7-5 is
There
not
are a
bad.
lot of records
We're an
broken
average
this
team.
year.
We are okay,
Average.
and we came off a Fiesta Bowl victory.
That was great.
Real quick,
That was good.
will we see any coach firings before the 2023 season?
Yes.
No.
I say yes.
Like in Oklahoma
Any
State?
Oklahoma State 2023.
Oh,
No,
no,
before
no.
2023.
No, I was thought you meant like all.
No, you don't think any personnel.
No heads are going to roll. Not right now.
All right.
Maybe
Well-
the new year, off season.
No, I'm saying before the 2023 season.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
I think so. then.
1, 2,
I-
3.
yeah.
No.
Yes.
I say yes. Well, we'll
There's
see.
something I
We'll
hope is
see
going
about
on.
that.
I'm not gonna say who.
Thank
Probably
you
know.
for watching the OSU Preview podcast. I hope you enjoyed it today.
Or listening. if
Or
you're
listening. Yes,
back.
we will upload this later onto Spotify if you're listening back. So I'm Alex Husky.
I'm Jace Andrews.
I'm Asa Lucas.
Have a great day. Watch those schools and go Pokes.
You got to hold it, Jason.
Yay.